Thank you so much to Zocdoc for sponsoring this episode of Making Moves. Maybe you've been trying to find a cause for your symptoms and you stumbled down a TikTok rabbit hole full of questionable advice from so-called experts. There are better ways to get the answers you want and the care you deserve from trusted professionals and not random people on the internet. Zocdoc helps you find expert doctors and medical professionals that specialize in the care you need and deliver the type of experience that you want. Zocdoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. No more doctor roulette or scouring the internet for questionable reviews. With Zocdoc, you can have a trusted guide to connect you to your favorite doctor you haven't met yet. Millions of people use Zocdoc's free app to find and book a doctor in their neighborhood who is patient reviewed and fits their needs and schedule just right. Go to Zocdoc.com/moves and download the Zocdoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/moves. ZocDoc.com/moves. Thank you so much to Ritual for sponsoring this episode of Making Moves. Just like that deadbeat your friend dated in college, vitamin labels can be disappointing. You guys, I am the biggest fan of Ritual. I am an active subscriber to their women's multivitamin and probiotic because I have seen such a difference in my life from taking both of them. It's a clinically backed multivitamin for women 18 plus with high quality and traceable key ingredients in clean, bioavailable forms. Ritual is essential for women 18 plus is one of the few women's multis that's USP verified, meaning what's on the label is what's in the formula. No more shady business. Ritual is essential for women 18 plus is a multivitamin you can actually trust. Ritual is offering my listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/TK to start Ritual and add essential for women 18 plus to your subscription today. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Welcome back to another episode of Making Moves. I'm here with, the one and only Mr. and Mrs. Kuch.
I love it. I'm so excited to be here.
Allie and Isaac, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yes, I'm excited.
We're hype. And who doesn't love to come to LA, right?
It's a good little trip for you guys, but I'm so happy you made it out.
Yes. Yeah, and there was no traffic today, so that was
none.
Yeah, that was great.
Did you listen to music? Did you chat? Talk shit? What'd you do on your way?
I talked a little shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, got a little off your chest.
A little tea on the car ride.
Okay.
And
he's a big talk on the phone in the car. Like we just drove from Ohio to California like last week.
Which is insane.
And everyone's like, oh, what do? Do you listen to podcasts? Do you listen to music? I'm like, I have my headphones on. Like, he's talking to people the entire time.
Get out.
Yeah.
Knocking like 5 hours out.
So who are you calling?
I'm going through the phone book. Anybody.
Okay. You're just like, I kind of miss them.
No,
yeah,
actually.
I think it's just like...
He's like, I haven't talked to them in a year. I'm
it's so weird you guys didn't call me.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
I'll add you to the Rolodex of people to call.
Yeah, next across the country road trip.
Exactly.
I better be on there.
He's going to call you like on the way home from here.
Okay, so who do you call?
Literally, like, just like she said, people that I haven't talked to in a while, I'm like, oh, let me just catch up
He was
with
like,
them.
I'm going to call my high school football coach. I was like,
stop.
Yeah, like boys I'm digging deep.
That's
I'm like,
so
who's?
He's
I'm
really,
like,
I
middle
hope he
school
doesn't hear
football
this.
coach. Like, you're now on speed dial.
Wow, that's really sweet. And then
is.
what are you listening to on your headphones?
Oh my gosh, definitely a podcast. Or like, I've been big on listening to YouTube videos while I drive. Is that weird?
No, I've done that before.
I was like, is that a
or I
red
listen to
flag?
Housewives, which is that's weird. We don't need to go
that's
down
unique.
there. Yeah.
But yeah, I like to like listen to I'll listen to vlogs, like hour-long vlogs.
Well,
like,
it's basically like a podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm just like, ooh, I can just picture it's like kind of like watching TV in your head.
Wait,
Okay.
what's the murder podcast? Ding, 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 ding. Crime Junkies.
Crime Junkies.
Yeah.
We killed some time with, no pun intended, with, how corny is that? With Crime Junkies. Man, we love Crime Junkies.
Yeah, we started listening to them at night when we drive because they kind of scare us to like keep us awake.
Oh, okay. That's
weird.
a good strategy.
We're weird.
Yeah, we are weird. I'm like, Just listening
That's
to
a
murder
good
podcasts.
strategy.
Yeah.
It
That
is,
would
though.
freak me out a little.
Yeah, you're kind of like it heightens your sense.
And then
of
when you get to
whatever.
like a sketchy hotel, you're like, oh, like maybe I shouldn't have listened to
Yeah,
the
when
murder
you're in
podcast.
Albuquerque.
Yeah, in
Okay.
Albuquerque.
Well, speaking of this road trip, I want to dive into it. Let's explain to the people, if they don't know who you are, why the heck were you moving? And I want to know your strategy with like road trips like that.
Oh my God bless. My name is Allison, but this is my husband Isaac. He plays in the NFL. He just finished his 6th year in the NFL, which is absolutely crazy.
Congrats, that's awesome.
Thank you. It is like a big deal. I'm proud of it.
Yeah. So he played in Cleveland, Ohio this year, kinda. And it sounds really bad, but I mean, like it was like halfway. Like you played for the Raiders too. So yeah, we were in Cleveland for the past 6 months, and we have 2 dogs. So how are you gonna get 2 dogs to California? I'm not putting them under the plane. Absolutely not. So we
Wait,
tried.
so I do see sometimes like big dogs on the actual
I know.
part that I'm in the plane. How do they do that? Service
So
now?
I will
think
say
it's-
I used to fly with our first dog like as an ESA, like emotional support animal, but our second dog, I would not trust him.
Dude's a liability. I mean, he's a great dog and we love him.
He's
but
just
he's a
going
liability.
crazy, like bananas all the time.
yeah.
So we kind of were like, okay, what are our options here? Private jet, which we're not doing that.
Come on, NFL money.
I know.
No,
Like it's really
Come on,
rude.
Airbnb money.
Exactly, right?
private jet or drive. So
Okay.
here's the thing that's crazy. I don't know like where you're at with your driving. Like, can you just like power through or not? We did an 18-hour day. Like, kind of
18
recommended
hours.
because you knock a lot out, but we were straight
You went crazy.
grinding.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
Celsius
even
in
thinking
the
about it, it
veins.
makes
It's about drive.
Like
It's about
nauseous.
power.
Yeah.
We stay hungry. Yeah.
We do power.
Literally. So we just did that. But again, it's just the NFL lifestyle. Like I was 4 years with the Chargers, no moving, same apartment for like 3 straight years, chilling, hanging out. And then it was just like blender of the NFL,
Wake up call.
3 teams in 3 years,
Four.
4 teams in 3 years. And yeah, and then you just learn to adapt and like move. I think we've got it down packed now. But
Oh yeah, we have. Yes, everyone's like, "Oh, can I have like some moving tips?" I'm just like, get rid of everything. Just like live minimally,
Purge.
which
Yeah.
I don't do. But
yeah, but it's definitely tough, including the cross country drive.
yeah,
I will say from my perspective, I'm not moving, but watching you guys is entertaining. Like the chaos of it.
That's the goal, right?
oh, it's very chaotic.
Yeah.
Like when
I'm
when people say like your TikToks like kind of stress me out, I'm like, how do you think I feel?
Yeah.
Like that's my life.
yeah, that's my
Well,
life.
Yeah.
I
Like the
think-
day after Christmas, you got a call from the Raiders and like left, and I was like, oh wait, hold on. Like where do I go? Like what's going on? So it's very chaotic, but
And
I like it.
Just to add a little bit more context, so the way it works, and we haven't experienced this, so I got put on practice squad. The Browns released me and put me on practice squad.
When was this? You got on the Browns, or was this the
So
beginning?
I signed with the Browns in April.
Okay.
Was with the Browns pretty much the whole year until I got re-signed. But during the year, like you can be active, you can be. There's just a bunch of things.
How many people are on a roster?
53
53. And you were on the roster.
for a period of time, most
Okay.
of the season,
And then if you're not on the roster, you're on the practice squad.
or just at home, right? Like, but if
Or
you're
just,
in the building,
you know,
yeah,
playing
you're
FIFA.
yeah,
Okay. So how many people are on the practice squad?
16. But
Okay.
when this is what's crazy. When you're on practice squad, you can get picked up by anybody in the NFL.
Any team at any
So
point.
it kind of sucks. You're like, okay, I'm hyped to still be
like
in
a
the NFL.
gamble.
But yeah, every day you're like, I could get a call from anywhere, which is what happened. The Raiders called, and then they called and they were like, yeah, your flight's in 2 hours.
Oh yeah, I was freaking
What?
out. I was
Like,
I was
bruh.
hungover. I literally was just sitting there. I was like, I'm gonna have a Pinterest day. I'm just scrolling on Pinterest. He comes out. He's like, oh, we're
have a Pinterest day.
That's yeah, you know.
I need inspiration.
No, I don't.
Okay. I have Pinterest days.
Well, when it comes
so
to like
weird you
designing,
don't.
I'm like, how many red flags do I have? But when it comes to like designing Airbnbs, I'm like always trying to get new inspiration.
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
Pinterest.
Normalize Pinterest days, okay? Thank you. Moving forward.
Oh my god. But I was like super hungover, and I was like, I'm just gonna lay on the couch.
What
and I
day
was
is
like,
this of the week?
It's Tuesday.
What? Okay, you're super hungover.
Well, yeah.
Pinterest day,
You're
obviously
like,
on a
you're
Tuesday.
like, whoa, your
Okay.
life's in shambles. Tuesday hungover.
Pinterest day, obviously on
Sounds
Tuesdays.
really
Yeah.
bad.
Okay.
Let's back it up. It's like that weird period of time from Christmas to New Year's.
No,
where
that's so fair.
Nobody.
I'm
Yeah.
just giving you a hard time.
guys.
It's hilarious. Hilarious.
But also,
It's
so
winter break.
Tuesdays are
Yeah,
also
right.
the one day off for
It's like
him.
the NFL off days, Tuesdays.
So
so it's like your Sunday.
Going out on a
Yes.
Monday night isn't weird.
Crazy. Okay.
It's
No,
very
that
normal.
makes sense.
No, seriously. So you go out
Seriously.
to dinners, get a little whatever.
On Mondays.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but it's also when teams are like evaluating their rosters, who are we going to call? So that's why I got a call on Tuesday saying, hey, you're coming out to Vegas.
He literally came out, and I was just like sitting there, like with Pinterest up, just like, oh shit, okay, here we go. And then you left 2 hours later,
Yep.
dropped him off
Okay.
at the airport.
So
And here we are.
when you're getting a call from your agent,
Agent, correct.
okay, and what is he saying? He goes,
He's-
"Hey Isaac, what's up?"
He's saying, hey, Vegas wants to sign you. And we're hype. I mean, we were hype.
oh, yeah.
You
I'm
have
just-
the video on TikTok. We were juiced up.
Yeah, we were
Okay.
jumping up and down, like
Jumping
super
on the
excited.
bed.
Yes,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Crazy.
And,
And
then we're
it's-
like throwing shit into bags. I'm
Taking
just
your
like,
clothes
let's,
off.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And it's cool for her too.
And just getting naked.
Yeah. Well,
Getting in the shower.
yeah.
Okay.
fill in the blank. Yeah. But it's good for her too because it's like she gets to get to know a new fan base. They obviously are in love with Allison Kuch, and so it's just
Yeah.
like there's a lot of exciting
You're not
like
in love
energy.
with me too?
Yeah.
Of course I am. But it's like for me, football, for her, new market, new fans. Like it's just a lot of really positive.
New
energy.
exciting content.
Yeah,
honestly,
right.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were getting
It's like, let's
bored in our
continue.
You're getting
apartment.
hype.
And let's
Yeah.
continue the
Okay.
chaos. Yeah, love it.
So at this time, you were on the practice squad for the Browns.
Correct.
Okay. Did someone on the Raiders get injured, and then that's how you get the spot, or how does that happen?
Do you know? I'll let you explain because you know a lot about how the NFL stuff works too.
I didn't know. I don't know how you got your spot though.
Okay, I'll explain that.
How do you get your spot? How do you get
yeah.
on the team?
So
I called the GM. I did. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So basically, they had been evaluating me all year. All these NFL teams evaluate players and they put them on their radar. They like try to find availability for them. And in my case, that's what they were doing.
What do
Somebody
you mean
got
they were
hurt.
evaluating you?
Like, is he somebody that could be on our roster?
So are they looking at your
or no?
stats or like?
Film.
Whoa.
They're evaluating your
TikToks.
personality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
They're like,
imagine?
this guy's a red flag. Get him out of the room. That's
funny.
But so somebody got hurt, and then they called me.
Wow. And then
Just
you're
like that.
juiced, and then they're like,
Fired up.
they said in 2 hours, we booked your flight already.
Literally, it's 12:30. He goes, your flight leaves at 2:18. I remember, and then he was like, I think it's gonna get delayed. So
But that was when all the flight delays were happening. The whole
Oh,
Southwest thing.
I was gonna say what airline?
So they booked like 5 flights for him.
Literally,
They got him
everything.
to Chicago because Cleveland's not the biggest airport.
Yeah.
So they got him to Chicago, and then he had like 3 flights just in case, and like certain ones would get delayed, and he was just like waiting to get out.
They were desperate for Isaac.
Come on
Let's
in.
get him here.
Yeah.
Well, it's also crazy because he flew in and played that weekend, so like, you have to learn a whole playbook. Like you have to learn everything.
Oh my gosh.
It's actually crazy, right? And then people are like,
That's why when Baker Mayfield came and played that same weekend, he literally didn't know the plays. Well, I'm sure he did.
Oh
but
my god.
You're like, oh, like what's
It's
going
weird.
on?
The
I
NFL's
can't even
wild.
imagine.
It's
And meanwhile, my wife, like I have a wife, right?
You have
In a whole
dogs,
situation, yeah.
we have children.
Yeah, he
with
was her
tails.
Pinterest account.
Yeah, like right. So we got to figure
I'm
everything
deleting
out.
my Pinterest
No.
after this. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's amazing.
It's like, is this sponsored by Pinterest?
Yeah.
Are
Can you imagine?
Like, is Pinterest?
What
there?
airline are you flying there?
I don't even know what I was. I think Delta.
Did they put you in commercial or first class?
There was no first class seats, and they booked me one, but then the flight got delayed. And
So
I
is it
couldn't
normally
take it.
first class?
Depends on the team.
Every team
Juicy,
is different.
right? A little juicy. Every
Who's the
team.
richest teams in the NFL?
I think the
Cowboys,
Cowboys
for
are the
sure.
richest. I think it's just
Cowboys
the richest
slay.
like sports team in the world.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
the
The
Cowboys,
It's the
yeah.
richest franchise.
Jerry Jones.
Yeah, love it.
But yeah, Raiders are a team that they fly first class.
Wow.
So-
First class.
Daddy
That's
Delta.
crazy.
That is crazy, actually.
Do you guys know any NFL players that have their own PJs?
No.
Not that have their own PJs, but I do know a lot of like bigger name guys definitely take private jets.
Fly private?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't stepped into that world.
Nope.
But soon, right?
Soon.
Absolutely.
2023.
Yeah,
It's
that's
our
my
year.
year.
It's your year.
It's my year.
Okay, so I want to backtrack a little. How did y'all meet? Like what and fall in love?
So we met in college. He went to Notre Dame. I went to Michigan State.
We're in 2014, by the way. This
Yes,
is-
we were
Okay.
19 years old. And
Crazy.
walk into a party at Notre Dame. Honestly, I was just super stressed from finals and whatnot. And I was like, ooh, going to Notre Dame. Let's go hang out. I don't know. And Yeah, we just met at a party.
Yeah, so I was hosting recruits because like they do that. Hey, we got recruits in here, take them out. She was visiting, and we just literally happened to be at the same party. And one of my teammates was like, and this was like when I was kind of not drinking a ton. I was in that era.
I like asked him to take a shot, and he was like, I don't take shots. I was like,
well, but then she goes, yeah.
I'm also like,
yeah, right. But she was like, will you at least have a beer with me? And I was like,
my pre-gluten intolerant days.
Like, okay.
I know.
So Indiana.
And I already was, that is in here.
Gluten and carbs.
Right.
I had my eye on her though, because she had a crop top and Timberlands on. And I'm like, I've never seen a white girl with crop. Right.
The crop top and the Timbs.
Yeah, but that's like a Midwest thing. I'm like, I've never even seen a white girl wear Timbs.
Did that do it for you?
That got the juices flowing.
Okay. You were juiced.
I was there. And so
You're like, yeah. And it's actually crazy. I knew of him because my sister and his ex-girlfriend were friends.
Crazy. Slept over at their house.
Yeah.
That's
Whoa.
weird, right?
And so that's how I knew of him. And so I asked like if he had a girlfriend. He was like, "Oh no, I'm single." And I was like,
You're like, boy,
Oh, you
are
asked your sister if.
"No, I asked him." I was like,
you asked-
"Oh, are you in a relationship?" Because that's how I'd known him.
Oh.
That's kind of that's the only like framework you had was relationship Isaac. But
my
then I got light skinned and we started talking about love and all this stuff like the first time we were hanging out.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
oh yeah, we were talking
got
about
deep
love.
fast.
Yeah.
Like when you're having beers at
Yes.
this party.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
literally like in the corner at this party talking about like love at first sight and all this stuff.
Like, oh, do you like believe in that? Like stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yes. And honestly, it's so funny because after our first date, he texted me a text for his brother and was like, I just met the girl I'm going to marry. Like,
I was tripping.
Oh
That
my
accidental
God.
text, it's like, bro, pull it together.
That is so embarrassing.
I'm like, yo, what am I doing?
it's okay when you feel
loved
the
it.
same way because it would have
Immediately
been like
screenshot
super
it.
creepy if I didn't like him that much. But
Did you send it to your friend or your sister?
oh yeah,
Immediately
absolutely,
screenshot.
absolutely,
The whole
yes,
gang.
yeah.
So
Group
what was
text.
your recovery when you sent that text?
I was like, I gotta just rock with it.
But that was after our first date, and he didn't even kiss me. I was like, "So you're gonna marry me and won't even kiss me? It's rude, honestly."
yeah, I mean, that's well.
He
Here
just
we are.
knew.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah,
but
now we're married.
so I just rock with it. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just like this is how I feel.
How'd the first date happen?
So we went for coffee. We
Yeah,
went and got
to
coffee, which
Starbucks.
I highly recommend a coffee date because if your coffee's done, you can leave, or if you're enjoying the conversation, you stay and keep talking.
You always have an out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
you're like, oh,
Is this
coffee's
in Indiana?
yes,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's
What
an
a Midwest
Indiana
love story.
love story.
Oh my
Was that a
God.
Starbucks?
And go Irish, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, go Irish.
Thank you. So yeah, little Starbucks coffee date. We were there for
Starbucks.
4 hours. Yeah.
4 hours?
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah, we
great.
were
in
there
love.
after it closed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then we started dating 2 weeks later.
No way.
And 10 years later, here we are.
Yeah.
Okay. So many questions. What do you feel like has been the success of your relationship? Like what has, held you together? Because I feel like a lot of people will date starting in college
Yeah.
and then they don't end up married. So
Yeah.
how did that end up happening?
I
Curious
think
to hear your answer.
we took a break. We took like a few months break.
Tea.
Yeah.
that's some
Why the break?
We were long distance. We were fighting all the time.
You were in
Stupid.
Michigan.
Yeah. So I had a year left of college when he went to the NFL. So we were fighting all the time. And I was like, you know what? We had literally started dating. We were 19. I was like, you changed so much from 19 to now I'm 28. I'm like, taking a break, I think was like set us up for success because we didn't talk the entire time. We basically, this is very tea. We have never talked about this, but
Tea.
Whoa, this is like never
incoming
before
tea.
talked about.
Incoming tea, guys.
so we broke up. But
Screen record right now.
We had a trip.
Right.
Literally, we had a trip to Bali planned. So that was like our we're gonna see if we're
First
still
world problems,
want to
right?
be.
Like-
Yeah, that's
Like,
whatever.
we're going to Bali.
So we had this trip to Bali planned, and I had paid for my plane ticket. He had paid like we
Okay,
were like booked
yeah.
and ready to go.
This is
So I
when
was
you're
like,
dating.
Yeah.
We booked it when we were dating, and then we broke up. And we were like, okay, so we'll take.
Trauma.
I think it was like 4 or 5 months, and so we didn't talk for 4 or 5 months, and then I met him at LAX, and we're like, okay, let's go to
We
Bali.
went to Bali.
No, you're kidding.
No,
Like as a broken up couple.
it's so juicy, actually. And also, I didn't tell any of my friends that we broke up.
Okay, wait. I just need to paint this. You were in the NFL and you were in college.
Yes. Because she
Did you not feel like the coolest person ever? Like, oh, boyfriend's in the NFL and we're going to Bali. And
Right. I would tell
that's
I would tell my
super true.
professors like, oh, sorry, like I can't make it to class. Like I'm going to my boyfriend's game in LA. He plays for the Chargers. So they're like, sure, like yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure you can't get this assignment.
You're
in.
kidding.
That is kind of a flex. I didn't even think about that.
That's crazy. You're just like vibing in Michigan. And you're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, my boyfriend like is casually on the Chargers and we're like going to Bali. It's fine.
They're like, you're
And
privileged
everyone's
as
like, do you
hell.
want to go to Sigma Chi later? You're like, no, I'm going to Bali.
It's so funny because he'd be like, oh, like, are you going out? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you do not have to worry about anything I'm doing. I promise
Crazy.
you, like, alpha, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Thank you so much to Zocdoc for sponsoring this episode of Making Moves. You guys, Zocdoc and I are in a committed relationship at this point. I'm literally obsessed with it. I recommend it to all of my friends. It's perfect if you've moved to a new city and don't have any connections yet or anyone to give you any recommendations. Zocdoc is the place for you. Maybe you've been trying to find a cause for your symptoms and you stumbled down a TikTok rabbit hole full of questionable advice from so-called experts. Literally at me next time, Zocdoc. Okay, there are better ways to get the answers you want and the care you deserve from trusted professionals and not random people on the internet. Zocdoc helps you find expert doctors and medical professionals that specialize in the care you need and deliver the type of experience that you want. Zocdoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. No more doctor roulette or scouring the internet for questionable reviews. With Zocdoc, you can have a trusted guide to connect you to your favorite doctor you haven't met yet. Millions of people use Zocdoc's free app to find and book a doctor in their neighborhood who is patient reviewed and fits their needs and schedule just right. Go to Zocdoc.com/moves and download the Zocdoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/moves. ZocDoc.com/moves.
Did you ever visit her her senior year?
You surprised me.
Yeah, surprise her
actually.
on my bye week. Because every NFL team gets a week off. So I went and surprised her.
Yeah, so I was like there, like studying for finals, and here in comes like my NFL boyfriend.
Were
I'm
your
just
guy
like,
friends
oh.
like bananas about you and him? Like, were they like, what do you
Oh
like?
yeah, oh yeah.
I
would bring him to like
Yeah, right. How
these
much do you bench,
parties.
bro?
Yeah.
I'm like,
But
I'm
I
bro,
would
I'm
bring
just
him these
hanging out.
parties, and he was like this prized like thing coming to these parties.
Especially in the Midwest, like sports is life.
Oh my
yes,
God.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Wait, so, but you got to answer
Tell me
the
about
question.
Bali.
What's
Yeah.
your...
Oh yeah.
I
But
wanna-
you went to Bali though.
Yeah, but
And
we
how
went-
did that go? And you ended up being back
it
together.
went okay. I think we had realized that when we were in Bali, we were like, we need to date like normal people because at that point we had been long distance our entire relationship. We didn't know how to like date casually.
Okay.
But we also didn't come back and immediately start dating again.
No, so I ended up when we went to Bali, I ended up coming out here actually for a job interview. He had no idea because I was like, well, my job or like my major in college was interior design. I was like, LA is the perfect place. So I'm like, okay, if we're actually going to be together, like we need to see if this is
You're
actually
such a
going to
little
work.
independent girl boss.
No,
I'm like,
super
she
She does not give
independent.
a shit about
No.
it. She's like, okay, cool.
So I literally came out here. I found
Whatever.
a roommate on Facebook.
Okay.
Which she actually turned out to be really cool. And I
Good
got a
old
job and I was
Allison,
like, oh, by
nice
the way, I'm moving like 6 days after college graduation. And he was like, where? Like, what? Like, what's going on? And then we actually started dating.
Yeah, that was
Because
like,
then we were able to like go out to dinner and like leave each other.
yeah.
Like it felt normal.
And
so
when she moved, told you she was moving to LA.
yeah.
Did you have instant butterflies? I mean, come on.
No, I was hyped.
Yeah, you
I
were
was
juiced.
hyped. And I was juiced.
Okay.
But I think it was kind of like a perfect, like, happy medium. We were like extreme long distance.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're like mini long distance where like it's like 2 hours with traffic.
oh
So,
yeah, because I
like,
lived in Santa Monica. He lived in Irvine.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was like a healthy amount of distance where we could like, again,
out.
stay over, whatever. It was chill. So I was excited about it. I thought it was like good. It was like a good step for us, right?
Yeah.
Do you think your success is a little bit partially because of the break, or what do you think's made you so successful?
I think because of the break,
As a
I was
couple.
able to like take a step back from our relationship and like find my own identity outside of like being his girlfriend, especially because him being in the NFL. I was like, I don't want to be overpowered
Well,
by
that's a
that.
lot.
Like,
Yeah.
I want to have my own shit going on too, right? So I feel like being independent, like I'm not looking for validation in him. I'm not looking for like anything in him except like a partner and like a best friend. So I think that's where maybe the success comes from, is that I'm not like relying on him to make me happy. Like I need to find happiness in other places and then enjoy that with him.
Which is so awesome that you figured that out so young.
Yeah.
So cool.
I like look back and I'm like,
You're very
I
wise.
moved to LA. I didn't know anybody in LA, and I moved in with a random roommate and I got a job, and I'm just like, when did that? Like, how did I have the
Beast
balls
mode.
to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is beast mode.
You went
for real.
crazy. Yeah.
I literally moved here with 6 suitcases and nothing.
Slay.
No, it's next level.
time to go to
It's
IKEA.
next level.
Yeah. Time to get on Pinterest.
Wow. Okay, what do you think has made your relationship so successful?
So obviously agree with Allie, but not to give a basic answer. I think that like we've found a way, and I have a lot of confidence in this, to be super independent and dependent. Like I think some areas of our life we're like extremely independent, like crazy amounts of independence, and then like, but we'll still call each other. She'll call me and be like, "I miss you so much. Like I want you to come home. I'm lonely," and I'll do the
Cute.
same.
Yeah.
I call her
Lonely.
a million times a day. So it's like in some ways we just like we're like the cheesy, corny couple, but in a lot of ways we're like, all right, I'm gonna support you, you support me. We're not gonna hold each other back. I don't know. It's really like a cool dynamic.
We got a
It's
cool
chill.
thing going on.
Yeah.
This is
We kind
fun.
of have to.
I
say
love
that,
it.
though, but
I
no,
love
it's,
it.
It's good.
What do you feel like on the opposite end is something you guys still are constantly working on as a couple?
That's a good question, TK.
I think communication. I feel like communication is like
Okay.
something that you can always be improving on, whether that be like being super open about how something makes you feel, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think communication's always something you got to work on.
Yeah.
I think also one thing we're always working on is like we've been together 10 years. So who we were
That's
when we
crazy.
were
Isn't that weird?
So who we were when we were 19 is
So
so
different.
different.
I was like a
It was
baby.
but it's also different from 24, 26 where we're at now. So like having to like go through those major life changes together is challenging.
Yeah.
Right? So like I think we're always just learning, okay, what is this era? What do we need to learn about
What is
each
this
other?
era?
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out TikTok terms because
I'm entering my married era.
I'm in my officially
Like,
married
who are
era.
you?
So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, and that's just that won't ever stop. It'll be kids and whatever, but I think that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
What advice would you have for your younger self when you were in your single era?
Single era.
Ooh, you take it first.
Like,
I
what
don't-
advice would you give to someone who's single and they're like, it's hard to find someone? Like, you guys have such a great thing going. I think a lot of people look up to you, including myself. So, what would you say to someone? You know, I'm 25. I'm in LA. I've gone on the Hinge dates. Like, what advice would you give to someone?
I say just live the life. Like, picture your best life. Like, what you like would daydream your life to be, and
A little
and
manifest
just
action.
yeah,
Okay.
and go after that, because you're not gonna be like sitting and doing the same stuff and then find like this dream man. Like, you got to be like living your dream life, and then you're gonna find somebody that aligns with that lifestyle.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I think it's also just it's the same thing. Like you just got to be independent.
You just have to manifest.
You got to be independent because I just feel like it's so hard to be happy if you're not independent. Like
So true.
you
Yeah.
can't just be waiting on like
You have to love your own life.
Yeah, like you got to be complete 100%, and then it's like let's find somebody to complement that in a lot of different ways. But
Right.
I don't know, and we had to figure out how to do it while dating. Like literally, the fact that you moved to LA and did all that on your own is like, okay, you're gaining independence while dating somebody. So I think it's easier for somebody who's 25 single because you know who you are.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Right? You have space and time to figure out who you are and what you need and what you want. And it's harder when you're dating somebody to get that.
That's true.
Do you have any advice for relationships or people that are dating someone with such a lucrative, time-consuming job, kind of like Isaac's job, or even just, I feel like you hear a lot about like the wags and like the lifestyle.
Everyone's like, wow.
Do you know what I mean? And like the athletes cheat and all that stuff. Like, do you have any advice just as a couple about like how to be successful and you know how to go about it when dating someone like that?
Ooh, I feel like it goes back to independence is honestly
Having your own
because
thing.
if I didn't have a job or like a career or something I was passionate about that I was doing, even if it's not like a source of income, like you're like volunteering or something that like you need to find something that fills up your cup, because me just going to NFL games and like waiting for him to get home, that's not going to make you happy. Like it definitely might be cool, the whole like, oh, my husband's in the NFL. It's super cool, but it's also not going to make me happy. Like the clout of that doesn't make me happy.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to find like,
It's such
for me, I
short-lived.
love social media,
is.
so I'm like, being able to use football to like help me get to where I want to be. It's like use everything that you have around you to like, I don't know, push that.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL, it's like it's tight, but like you said, it is short lived. Like the NFL, we will be.
It's your life now.
Yeah,
it's not like it's your life.
Yeah,
and it's like we'll look back and be like, oh, that was like I did X amount of years and it was quick. It was a phase, but hopefully, like the next phase is so much better. And not saying this isn't good, this is unreal, but hopefully it just
like, keeps
getting
fun?
better and better. And so like when you look at it that way, then it's like, okay, like grow up. We're not gonna sit around and just talk about the NFL. So I think that's what we look at it like that. It makes it a little bit easier to not just like drool over the NFL thing.
Yeah, I love it. What do you feel like Allie fuels you as like an independent person?
Ooh, oh my gosh, that's a good question. What fuels me? I think just like, I don't know if this is like a very Capricorn thing, but I've heard it's a very Capricorn thing. Is like just like I hate hustle culture, but I always want to be doing something.
I agree.
I'm just like,
I'm like that too.
if I don't have a goal, I just feel very like empty, and I'm like, what am I going after? Like I need to have an end goal, and then once I get to that goal, it feels so good, and you're like, okay, well now I need another goal, like a bigger goal. So I feel like that kind of fuels me, like just the idea of like reaching those goals.
Yeah, you don't stop.
Don't stop.
You
Don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Do you have any goals right now for 2023 that you're looking forward to?
Good.
Goals.
I love hearing this because I'm proud of her. I like listening to it.
I think I definitely want to have a podcast with me and Isaac. I think that we come from such different backgrounds.
You guys 100% have to.
So I think that's definitely a goal of mine. It's crazy because so many things are happening this year that I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe that's happening. Like that was a goal. Like I'm working with the NFL for the Super Bowl. So I'm like
Crazy cool.
like I'm like
It's
what
gonna be
like
unreal.
how
Perfect
can I have a
partnership.
goal
makes
to like
sense.
top that? It's really hard to think about that. I think maybe another goal might be like having a family actually and like maybe settling down a little bit. It's like kind of intimidating. I feel like really old saying that because I'm like, you like
We're there.
well, yeah, it's like having a kid on purpose is like that's insane.
Yeah.
Like you want that. Like, you want the test to be positive. That's
Yeah, that's
It is kinda
crazy.
crazy.
yeah.
Isn't it weird? Like you grow up just hoping that you don't get pregnant, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, now I'm trying to get pregnant.
Here we are.
It's so
Trying.
weird.
Like calling my parents would be like a happy thing and not like a I'm scared.
Yeah, I never used to, or I never thought about growing up about how people would even need to try
Right?
to get pregnant because
Yeah.
your whole life you're told like not to.
Yes.
It's weird.
Isn't it weird? Like I didn't know that there's only like a certain window of days you can get pregnant.
Yes.
It's actually like hard
Kinda
to get
mind-blowing.
pregnant.
People don't. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't like teach
you that.
I know.
Like
That needs to change.
a
But
whole nother combo.
Yeah. No, exactly. Okay, so I think it's hilarious what you've done with the whole, gold digger era thing on TikTok.
my gold digger era.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about like how that came to fruition. Like did you take a bad thing into a good thing? Lemons and lemonade. I want to hear that story.
Yeah, during quarantine, we started TikTok. Like a bunch of other people started TikTok and social media, and I just honestly started like talking about like my life normally because he's in the NFL. That happened to like.
No, this is your life.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what people don't understand. They're like, oh, she like films NFL stuff. It's like, no, she films her life.
right, like that's your everyday. It's just part
People
of it.
legit forget. I'm like, bro, I'm in the NFL.
Yeah.
Don't try me, bro.
Yeah, and so when I started talking about the NFL, people would be like, "Oh my god, a gold digger," and I'm like, "Wait, why? Just because of his job? Like that's crazy to me." And then I was like,
Were
well,
people commenting that on TikTok?
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Was
like,
it mainly
every comment.
men? Or
yeah.
girls
Oh no,
too?
mainly men.
It's
for
always
sure.
dudes. It's
Yeah.
so crazy.
Loser.
I'm just like, you're just jealous you can't get with an NFL.
Yeah.
No kidding. But yeah, so then I was like, I don't mind hate comments because I'm like, I have nothing to hide. So then I was like, okay, well, I'm a very like satirical person. Like, let's just run with the joke.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm a gold digger.
The
Oh
best
no,
are
like
the subtitles when you change the subtitles. I was like, this girl's
know.
funny.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, when you're like,
I love that.
Yeah, when you're like, my sugar daddy, when he blah blah blah, like so funny.
I started uploading them to YouTube Shorts, and the humor does not translate well on there because everyone's like, "Oh my god, did you see her trying to cover up the sugar daddy thing?" Like,
No way.
I'm like, guys, I put
You're
that there on
like, bruh,
purpose.
come on.
Oh my god, yeah. He's like, I want to claw my eyes out. I'm like, wow, okay,
Wow, that's how we feel.
but yeah, that's how it started.
And then
I'm now-
you thought it was funny, and you just started.
Oh yeah, I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, oh yeah, and then I started joking about how I was like psychic, and I saw him going to the NFL back when we were 19 and we met. Like, I'm like, y'all, like let's just run with this. And
It's
Now it's not even like I don't even joke about being a gold digger anymore. I do. Now you're the gold digger.
Yeah, now I do. It's just crazy how the transition has happened. Like it's a pretty graceful transition out of that.
If you don't like the narrative, you have to change it. So I changed it.
You took it you took the reins.
Yes, and now you're Mr. Kuch.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yes.
I love it though. I really am super proud of her. So I'm like, I don't care. And my teammates are like, bro, how do you feel about the Mr. Kuch thing? I'm like, boy, I'm not going to be playing football forever. You think I'm like, I would rather my wife be super well known like that. When this is all over, like that's going to last a lot longer. I don't know.
Thank you so much to Ritual for sponsoring this episode of Making Moves. Just like that deadbeat your friend dated in college, vitamin labels can be disappointing. Misleading labels, questionable ingredients, sugary formulas, hard pass. You guys, I am the biggest fan of Ritual. I am an active subscriber to their women's multivitamin and probiotic because I am just such a huge fan and I've seen such a difference in my life from taking both of them. First of all, can we talk about the minty fresh vibe that the vitamin and probiotic have? I mean, I'm literally obsessed. Also, I love that you can take it technically on an empty stomach. It's a clinically backed multivitamin for women 18 plus with high quality and traceable key ingredients in clean, bioavailable forms. With 9 key nutrients in 2 capsules per day, their unique bead-let-in oil is even patented. Ritual is essential for women 18 plus is one of the few women's multis that's USP verified, meaning what's on the label is what's in the formula. It's also soy-free, gluten-free, vegan-friendly, and formulated without GMOs. A minty essence in every bottle keeps things fresh and helps make taking your multivitamin every day actually enjoyable. No more shady business. Ritual is essential for women 18 plus is a multivitamin you can actually trust. Ritual is offering my listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/TK to start Ritual and add Essential for Women 18 plus to your subscription today. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What do your teammates just think about your guys' social media presence in general? Do you ever get any shit?
Yeah, so it's crazy because it's definitely changed. Like when I first started,
when you weren't that big, it was like,
yeah, it's like
okay,
you're trying
definitely.
too
And
hard,
now they're
doing
asking you
too
to come on the
much.
podcast.
Yeah,
Like,
it's crazy though. It's
like,
changed.
yo, give me a shout out.
right?
For real. I swear, dudes ask me all the time, and I'm always like, bro, I'll give you a shout out. I don't care. Like it's not a big deal.
Are shout outs even a thing anymore? Like,
I know.
yo, shout out.
Yeah,
blah,
shout
blah,
out.
blah.
Hey, follow
Go
my
follow.
boy at. It's like, boy, stop.
If I saw you doing that on TikTok, I'd be like, what is
You're
Isaac
like,
doing?
unfollow.
He just like puts like a username like on the screen just at the
Yo,
top
let me
right.
get a
Like,
shout out.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
hilarious.
Yeah, so I put guys on, but the point is, now guys ask me for advice. But I've had coaches. You talk about T. I've had coaches like one of my coaches. I won't say who. Was like, he was like, maybe if you spent less time on TikTok.
Classic.
I'm like, boy.
Classic old guy thing to say.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
But then you've also had coaches that have appreciated it and been like, wow, that's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, it just opens up so many doors. I don't care now though. I'm like, if a coach, I'm like I'm about to go into year 7. I don't care if you have stuff to say.
Yeah.
Well, that's almost like saying like, okay, you can't do anything outside of football that's not football. That's like you can't go home and be a
can't have a
dad.
life.
Like
Yeah.
like what?
Which that mentality.
Or you can't have a hobby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like some guys like fishing, you like dancing. No, I'm kidding.
I like
You like renegading.
Like
Yeah.
Renegade.
He likes wowing.
Right?
whoa.
What's it called? The
The nay-nay? Crank that nay-nay?
I was thinking like the yitty, not
Oh,
not
God.
yitty. That's Lizzo.
The gritty.
Yeah, gritty. Yeah.
The gritty.
My brother always does that. I'm
Right.
like, why are you grittying? Like,
Doing that,
on the street
like, we're
right
at
now.
dinner. Why are we
Yeah,
gritting?
I did. Yeah, that it's super crazy how it's changed. I feel like it used to be like embarrassing, like being on TikTok. Now it's like not embarrassing at all.
I could care less now too. I'm like,
Well, I also think it's cool when I go to games and people are like, "Oh my God, Allison," are like wearing like Mr. Kuch jerseys. I'm like,
that's unreal.
a guy can't look at that and be like, "Ew," like you're on TikTok.
Yeah.
They look at that as like cool.
Well, it's always, I always say this on this podcast, it's always weird. Anything you start is always weird and embarrassing until
it hits.
it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like everything, like Uber was embarrassing at one point. Like someone who invented Uber went to their friend and was like, I have this idea. And they're like, bro,
Good luck.
Like, go back to your day job.
Like, no one's
like,
gonna
I'm so
go to your
embarrassed,
day
right?
job.
But then, like, all of a sudden, Uber's like one of the biggest companies, and like the same dude wants to invest and like wishes he would have been a part of it, and that's how it's just how the story goes.
Yes.
It's
For sure.
unfortunate, but it's really disappointing that like at this time, like a coach would say something like that, because at the end of the day, it is your coach, and it still is like, dude, really? Like, did you have to say that?
Well, it's like, I don't talk about it. Why are you talking about
Yeah.
it? I'm not
Clearly you
sitting.
watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, boy,
Are you a fan?
you're on my page.
Yeah,
Why are you
a
obsessed
fan?
with me?
You're like, you a fan?
But it helps, and I'll always hype Allie up. Like, it helps because she does such a good job of being tasteful. It's not trashy content. It's not stuff that would like be
And
embarrassing.
you're positive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
There
like
are
good
definitely-
vibes.
yeah,
And
there are-
insightful. You've educated so many people on the NFL, and you've gotten girls invested in watching.
And I love that. And I think like I love when women are interested in sports, because I'm like so tired of this narrative that like it's like you're a pick me girl if you like sports.
Yes.
Like, or I just fucking like football.
Yeah.
Like, or I just like it.
Yeah.
So I love that like I'm bringing like new information to like women that they can go to their husband, fiance, boyfriend and be like, oh, did you know this is a rule? And they're like, I actually didn't. And I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are definitely things that I would never post, because at the end of the day, I do know like the NFL is a business. I would hate for anything I do to reflect negatively on
jeopardize
him.
Yeah,
But like
me too. We'd both hate that. But
Yeah.
like, it'd be trash.
I know, and that's where, oh my gosh, so many people on TikTok. Recently, I lost my luggage going to Vegas, and so I sent my luggage to the Raiders facility.
Yes.
And so many people were like, "You're gonna get your husband cut." I'm like, Do you think the Raiders GM is like, oh my God, she sent her luggage here? No. It's also like these NFL
crazy.
teams can be like families.
Yeah.
Like I was just with the social media team with the Raiders, and they're like, no, we thought it was hilarious. And also it's like the NFL, like it's definitely varies team to team, but like the Raiders are like take you in as a family. Like you're just as much as part of the organization as he is. So I think it's so funny when people are like, you're going to get your husband cut. I'm like, I promise you, if that was true, why would I ever post that?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Also, I like from my perspective, I'm like, at the end of the day, the NFL is a business, and you are giving it the most free promo out of anyone. Do you know what I
Right?
mean?
Isn't that crazy?
Which is amazing.
Well,
And yeah.
When I was gonna say the Raiders, it's just crazy because she posted about or did like oh no, you did a video with them on their page, and like they gained like, I'm not joking, like maybe like 60 or 70,000 followers.
I was one of them probably. Yeah, because of Ali.
And people are just like, oh my God, I'm like a Raiders fan now. And I'm like, this influence is crazy.
But I love it. And I love that people feel like they have like something invested in it. They're like, oh, like I have a personal connection to the Raiders now. Like I want to follow along with that. Yeah. And I love that.
It's fun.
Because watching football when you like know more about a player is a lot more fun. You're like, oh, I follow
100%.
like Kennedy's, like I follow her, and I'm like, oh, I want her husband to do well.
Yeah.
So I love that. I
It's
can
like
do that.
our girls' version of putting a bet on the game. It's
Yes.
like my favorite TikToker's husband's on this team.
Yes.
Which is like my bet.
Yes,
That's
and I
your
love
bet.
it.
Guys, but bets on games,
Bet
on
on-
random
yeah.
players.
Also, it makes it more interesting, I feel like.
Yeah, gets you more
I'm
excited.
like, sports can be honestly kind of like reality TV. You're like, oh wow, that player just got cut and is now with a different. It's like
Totally.
it's juicy.
Yeah.
It is a little juicy.
One of my favorite things that you have done, Ali, is just like how much you've educated people on, including myself, on the lifestyle and how hard it can be just for your entire family, your loved ones, your as being a wife. Like that is a whole separate world that like people from the outside, I feel like, are always like, oh, they're so lucky they're a gold digger, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like they don't see you show the like hardships of it, and you show you with the dogs driving by yourself, getting to
Show
Vegas,
me
like
crying
doing
on
all
the
this stuff,
internet.
yeah, crying, like whatever, which is the actual reality.
Yes.
And it definitely has opened up my eyes towards like family members of NFL players and seeing like how much time and effort, because Isaac, I'm sure, couldn't be Isaac without you at this
Right.
point.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
and that's been really cool to watch as well.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely last year I struggled a lot when he was with the Colts because I didn't have any friends out there. It's like you're placed in
so
a new
sad I
city.
didn't know you
I know,
guys.
I'm sad too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But
Right
so
there.
this year when he got cut, everyone was like, "Oh my God, she's gonna stop TikToking until he's back on a team." And I'm like, yeah, let's talk about it. Like, it definitely sucks. I'm not happy. It's not because like the money or like anything like that. It's like my husband just lost his job. Yeah, that sucks. So let's talk about it. And yeah, I don't really have anything to hide. I feel like I'm a very open book.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, it is super cool.
Very educational.
I love that though. It does. Sometimes I do feel really self-conscious talking about the struggles I go through because I'm like, I know so many people out there are going through a lot worse shit. So it at the same time, I try and be very sensitive about that too, because it's like, okay, at the end of the day, I know like my husband's been in the NFL for 6 years. We get like you have to be like do it tastefully, because you don't want people to be like, I don't know. I'm not asking for pity. I kind of just think I want to show like both sides to the NFL.
Yeah,
the good times, the bad times. I don't want.
And also,
pity,
no matter anyone's current status or financial status, like you're still allowed. Everything you're feeling is valid.
Right.
So many people don't think that's true.
Oh
but,
yeah, no.
but I know that's true. Yeah.
It's also interesting because the world of professional athletes and famous people in general previously has been like all on Instagram, right? Which is just really perfectly curated pictures.
Yeah.
And then now you're like, okay, wait, here's like a less glamorized version of what we thought existed with the NFL. And like I think both of us are actually doing a really good job of just explaining like, no, it's like we're in the meat grinder like half the time.
Yeah.
And like moving half the time, and it kind of sucks half the time, but you love it, right? You wouldn't change it at all. But I think it's just been really cool to peel back the curtains and be like, no, this is kind of like the real live, like what's going on.
Totally. It's actually, this is like going to sound so weird, but it's almost more interesting how crazy of a year you guys have had with all the teams and the practice squad and the back on the team. And like, it's almost more interesting as a viewer, just as like me, just as a viewer, not as a friend, like watching that versus like you steady vibing, you just like looking cute and going to your husband's game every time. Like, do you know what I mean? Watching, it's interesting and
it's like,
fun and educational watching someone struggle or their journey, or you know, watching you be at a high and having high low and or low, and I don't know. I love how you guys document it. It's so cool. Speaking of practice squad, I want to ask, do you get paid on the practice squad?
Yeah.
How does that work?
So
I have like so many questions.
Oh no, yeah.
there's like a range. So like there's like veteran pay, which I was considered a vet. And then
how many years do you have to be in the NFL for it to be a vet?
It's like 3 or more, and then it's kind of hard to explain. But either way, there's like a range of payment. But yes, you get paid. It's still like a great paying job. But it's like not.
There's like
your
a minimum
normal
amount
salary.
you get paid.
Oh, great.
Like it varies. It definitely varies.
Thank God.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yes.
So, but it was just you still are making less, which sucks and is super annoying, and you're not playing.
So then once you go on the Raiders, did you have like a new contract of a new like payment?
Yes.
Wow.
So this is the way it works.
So much like fluctuation of your like life.
It's so confusing.
That's crazy.
So I signed a contract with the Browns. Like that was like my year-long contract, normal NFL contract. That contract stays in place, and it is either active or inactive based on like my status. If I switch teams and I go from inactive on the Browns to active on the Raiders, that contract just goes to them and it just restarts.
Oh.
So when you see salaries, you have to think about it like that salary divided by 18 weeks. That's like what you make. So if you play that week, you make 1/18 of your salary. If you don't play, you don't make 1/18 of your salary. And then you have guarantees and signing bonuses. But that's just like the easiest way to think about it. So I played like, I think was like active on a roster for maybe like 13, 14 games. So then I made 13 or like 14, 18 of my contract.
But it's also super interesting because he was on practice squad with the Browns and he still played in the game. And so he got paid what he would have, like, he got paid as if he was on, yes.
Yeah, one of the 18.
But, like, he was still on practice squad. It's super interesting.
Because he played in the game.
Yes.
Correct. It's so weird,
and then there's, like, a lot more. Like, there's, like, termination pay where if you, like, if you're a vet, like, and you play the first game, you get your entire salary.
Oh.
It's super interesting. There are so many rules. I'm telling you, the NFL rule book has to be
wild.
huge. Because
wow.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, I'm assuming, do you have a manager?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And do you have an NFL agent?
So I have an agent and we have
a social
the same
media manager?
management.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was going to ask. So your NFL agent doesn't do your social media deals?
No. They can though. They're capable of doing it, but I kind of have
you do some deals through them.
Yeah. I have like a 2-prong approach though, because we do so much together.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense for us not to have the same management.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, and our deals are obviously better if we're working together. So I have both, but my agent does football stuff. And then they have a team that does like social media stuff.
Wow. What has been your favorite fan base like to be a part of or play with?
That's a good question.
Ooh, I'm not gonna lie. Like the Raiders, like
I knew you were gonna say that. They're great. They're known for a crazy fan base.
yes, and so many. I will say, like when he got signed by the Raiders, so many wives that their husbands play in the NFL were like, "Oh my God, are you like that sucks? I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "What? Like, what do you mean?"
Wait,
and
really?
it's because it's a fan base that is like ride or die. So if you're not with them, they're scary.
Yeah.
But being a part of them, they're so welcoming. They're hardcore. I also will
They're
like
intense.
I say this all the time. I love strong fan bases because love the Chargers. They had a great fan base here, but it just it
was smaller.
Like, it was smaller, and it's also
LA
like
people don't care about football.
They're
as
like,
much.
"Well, I'm going to the
honestly,
beach."
and so that's why like when he went to the Browns, so many people are like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry you have to go to Cleveland." I'm like, the Browns organization is iconic. What do you mean? And so I look at it like glass half full. I'm like, yeah, the Browns are incredible. Like I love it.
I think once we started to get our social media following too, like we're starting to understand the fans better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I feel like we're having more positive experiences with the fans. Like Browns fans and Raiders fans this last year were like both insane.
Yeah.
Like ride or die.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it's cool
So
to
cool.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you guys, because you lived in LA for so long, or Irvine
Orange
area,
County,
or
yeah.
Orange County. What would you say are like the main difference, like the pros and cons between the Midwest and California?
You're a Midwest girl.
Yeah.
I'm a
am
Midwest girl too.
Yeah,
I'm like
we'll get along.
Midwest
Yeah, I was
girls.
born and raised in Michigan. I do like how like the life can feel so simple and like slow at times. I definitely
easy.
Yeah,
Everything's
like
just
very
easy to do.
Yeah,
yes.
right?
But then again, I love like being able to drive to the beach or like waking up and it being sunny all the time. I'm like, I love that. So there's definitely pros and cons. I think that I definitely see myself staying out here though long term.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we love it. I mean, we just got spoiled with the Chargers 4 straight years. I mean, it was just like, this place is unreal.
Yeah.
Right? From South Bend to here, I'm like, this is like the promised land.
Oh yeah. So South Bend, their weather is a little questionable.
Super questionable.
I'm also, I will say, my mood is very dependent on the weather. So if it's, so I told him when I was in Cleveland,
You're
I was
big
like,
seasonal
I haven't seen the
depression.
sun in like 2 weeks, and I was like, I honestly need to fly somewhere. That sounds very privileged, but I was like,
Yeah.
I'm struggling mentally,
Yeah.
and yeah, it does sound very like bougie for me to say that.
No, but I get it.
But like. Oh my God, I was just struggling. I didn't leave my apartment a bunch too because I was like, I don't really have a bunch of friends here. And like one of the friends I did have, she was pregnant, so she wasn't trying to go and get drinks or something. So I was like, okay, I'm struggling.
Also-
so living in California makes sense.
A huge thing that people don't talk about is like your buy-in from her perspective. I'm always bought in when I'm in an NFL building. But like for you, your buy-in to a city and relationships is going to be so much lower if she knows that I can get picked up and go to any team at any point.
Or you mean like your like commitment to
Yeah,
like
like,
the
am I-
city, or to make like
To
To
make friends.
every- to everything,
Yes.
right?
Got
like,
it.
I mean, there was even times in our apartment.
She's like, why am I here right now?
Literally.
Yeah.
And like, there's times where she's like, I want to, because she's interior designer
Yeah.
and wants to like have that vibe. And she's
Oh my
like,
gosh,
"Oh,
that makes so much sense with the Airbnbs.
Yes.
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 So, so she's like, I want to buy this stuff. And I'm like, why? Like, I could be gone. Literally how it happened with the Raiders. So it's like, it's
Like,
tough.
why would I even try and make this place cute?
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's mentally tough. That plus seasonal depression is
That
for you.
talk about living in the present and
Yes.
trying to do that. That's
Literally.
hard.
Yeah, and I think when he got cut from the Browns earlier on in the season, like literally before the first game,
Yeah.
and then he got picked back up. So I was like, okay, so now he is on the team. So now I was rushing around like, okay, I actually have to make connections here. And then I don't know, it was just like a lot of ups and downs.
And also now your life's public.
Yes.
Like you're like, now I have to tell everyone that
Literally.
and
that's hard.
also oh my God, I just made a video about this. I would hate for any NFL wife or literally anybody in general for them to be like, oh, Allie's hot shit because she has social media. Like she thinks she's hot shit. And so then it like stresses me out knowing that these people know that I'm like depressed and like have to go and like
They're like
act-
casually text you like, hey, want to
Yeah,
hang
you
out? Like,
good?
my God,
Yeah.
I guess we'll hang out then. Like,
Yeah. So it's I like being open, but at the same time I'm like, I wish I could be open and then certain people not know that.
Yeah.
Like, but you know.
You just block every girl when you get to a city so they can't
Yeah.
see you.
Hide them
imagine?
from their story.
Right.
They're like, you block
Yeah.
me?
I will say, like, even from my perspective, when I'm filming, I like see my viewers as like a different friend group than like my real life friends.
Yes.
If that makes sense. I'm like,
Absolutely.
I'm like, my real life friends don't watch my stuff.
No,
But they
actually.
do.
Until they do, and you're like,
You're like, whoa, okay, they know that about me.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? And I'm sure you've dealt with a lot of this, but sometimes I'll like mention something in like a TikTok, and then the company will be like, "Oh, do you want to work together?" And I'm like, "What?
I know.
Like, oh, you
when
saw
did
that.
you see that
Yeah.
video?"
And you're like, no, duh. I posted. Like, I like forget that people watch.
It's honestly no. Actually, I'm like, there's no, like when the video says 1 million views, I'm like, oh, cool, like that's nice.
Yeah.
I do not picture 1 million people actually like having me on their screen. That
Which is
blows my
crazy.
mind.
That
It
is
feels
crazy.
make believe,
My
right?
God.
Because you're just talking
Well,
your phone.
Think about a stadium full. SoFi holds like what, like 70,000 people.
that's just
and in my head, I'm
stadiums.
like, only 70,000 views. Isn't that crazy? You think of SoFi? I'm like, oh my gosh!
Yeah,
like
right.
I think all those people there watch one video, and I'm mad that that's low.
Isn't that
Yeah, like-
crazy?
That's crazy.
Man, it's crazy. I'm like, I can't even
Well-
picture 1 million people.
She had a video with like 30 million views, and I'm like,
That's crazy.
of like able bodies that can scroll on TikTok in America, that's like a pretty big percentage of people,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
because there's old people and young people, they're not on TikTok, and like
That's,
just
like,
the
majority
amount of
of-
people,
yeah.
it's crazy.
It blows my mind. Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird.
That's so insane.
And here we are, just vulnerable, like.
yeah.
I'm like crying.
I have to ask though. I know Indy was like a rough moment. What were there any pros to Indy? Like, where were your favorite spots to
sure.
go?
Oh yeah,
Or
so we
things to
lived
do?
like right outside of Carmel, Indiana.
Okay.
So you know Carmel.
Love Carmel.
I think it's
Carmel's
like
like the Beverly Hills of Indiana.
Wow.
I would say, like, it's a nice
no,
part
it's
of Indiana.
It's a fair
I
comparison.
think maybe like Zionsville though.
Zionsville.
Yeah, I feel like that's like very like
It's like the bougie part of Indiana.
Yes, correct.
yeah. If it can be bougie, I'm like I don't know.
Yeah.
but
Bougie for
We
Indiana.
got
I
our
think-
house, which was clutch.
we bought a house on a 1-year deal, which is unheard of in the NFL. Like you,
What do you mean 1 year deal?
so he literally was only guaranteed to play there for a
And you
year,
just bought a house to go
and we bought a
crazy.
house.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Which-
I had like guarantees in my contract. I had a better contract than I did this year. So we were like, why not? Let's just get it.
So having a house was really cool. That was the first time we had ever owned a house together. We own the Airbnbs, but they don't feel like ours. So we were able to like, I don't know, have fun. Like he was building random shit, but I feel like
I'm basic.
we're like, I honestly like, crap, now it's not coming to my, it's right under the Meridian Kessler. What is it?
Broad Ripple.
Broad Ripple.
I
So
love
like,
Broad Ripple.
so I love like that area. I really feel like because he had guarantees, I was like the odds of him getting cut are very low.
Yeah.
So I started
Broad Ripple's
immediately.
cute.
Yeah, I immediately started like,
Did you go to Patacho?
yes. Oh my god, we had breakfast there. Like,
Is that
times.
that
yeah.
place is good.
Yummy.
That
Yes,
place is
I love
good.
it.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
interrupted you.
Oh no,
Continue.
you're totally good. No, yeah, I feel like because I knew we were gonna be there for a while, or not a while, but we were gonna be there for the season. I was like, oh, I can actually like jump in, like dive in. And at that point, you had never been cut before. Up until this year, you had never been cut.
I did my first year, but it was kind
That
of
didn't
different. Yeah.
We
But I
weren't
was a
together,
rookie.
Isaac.
Did you
Okay.
guys kind of have a parallel path to Manti Te'o? Didn't he do Notre Dame and then Chargers?
Notre Dame Chargers. It's actually crazy because there's a lot of Notre Dame
Are
guys
there
who went
Notre Dame
Chargers.
Chargers? Crazy.
That is
But
just
he was
super
way ahead
random.
of
Yeah,
you, right?
Manti. Oh, well, I guess Manti became super famous because
Oh,
of the
yeah, isn't that
documentary.
crazy?
Yeah, because the documentary. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a.
Do you know him?
Yeah, well, when I went to Notre Dame, he hosted me. He was like the guy. Like
Get out!
how I said, well, he didn't host, but he was like the first
He took
person
you
I
to a
had
party.
lunch with. And
That's super
it's just the whole thing is crazy. Yeah.
That's
Good old Manti.
insane.
That's interesting.
Did you
info.
watch the doc?
Yeah.
Crazy.
You have to watch it.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
intense.
yeah.
yeah, that was intense.
a-
Because when I started dating, so my sister's ex played football at Notre Dame, and he was there during the whole thing, and it
Get
was
out.
oh yeah, it was
Yeah,
so
he was there.
interesting because everyone would joke about it. There'd be signs like, "Oh, Manti Te'o's girlfriend," blah blah blah. Super interesting, but I didn't know the story like how it was told.
Yeah.
Like, I thought
mean-
I thought he had made up a girl.
Well, that's the way it was framed in the
Right.
media, right?
Yeah.
The whole
Oh.
thing is crazy. Like
It's the most insane thing ever.
Insane. Yeah.
the girl who sent the picture, he was like, "Hold up, peace sign."
Yes, and yeah, the picture.
I'm like, I'm done. Like if that's me, I'm catfish. Like you won. You got me. I lost. Like
Yes.
how is he supposed to be like, yeah, this is fake?
Insane.
Like, that's super specific.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super weird, but
so crazy.
Super suspect.
Okay,
Wow.
so what else would you do in Indy?
What else would I do in it? I'm not gonna lie.
Do you think people are nicer in the Midwest?
Yes, absolutely.
More welcoming?
Yes.
As a table full of Midwesterners, guys, Midwesterners are great, right? You
from
agree,
the
right?
Midwest.
Just
Where are
making
you
sure.
from?
You're from the
I'm
South.
from Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah, you're from the South.
Georgia, people from the South are nice too.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, some.
But yeah,
No.
Hey, you walk in and you look the wrong way.
that's very true.
Yeah, Georgia's interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, the issue I think in Indiana, and probably why I was depressed, is I didn't leave my house a bunch, and so I think I get very like caught up. Like I don't know, it feels like very claustrophobic when you're only in your house and you're like, well, it's already halfway through the season. What am I gonna do? Like, and then you're just looking forward to going back home because now
Totally.
like we have a home here,
And that's
so
your home base.
This is our
Yeah.
home base. Yeah.
Well,
and so,
also Indiana's tough because like everything's 25 minutes away. Like
Yeah.
if you're like, oh, I want to go to a workout class, it's 20 to 25 minutes, and so like that becomes like exhausting. Like
Wait, really? That must have been where y'all lived.
in Westfield, Indiana,
yeah, we lived in
everything.
Westfield. Anthony's Chop House. That was like our favorite go-to dinner
We used to-
spot. Have you
it's
ever
like
heard
a
of
nice
it?
steakhouse.
You've never
called?
heard of it? Anthony's Chop House?
Uh-uh.
Oh my God.
I haven't
Okay.
heard of that.
Well, you gotta go
It's,
now.
it's
have to
actually
go.
really good.
It's super good. So I feel like I don't know. There really wasn't much to
we had a
do.
good flow though.
Good run.
Yeah, we had a good flow.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it.
So as of now, the Raiders is the new fam. I am dying to come to a game.
Oh, you have to.
And we should go with Kennedy.
Yes, the
Yes.
stadium is insane.
Sounds like you guys are going there whether I'm there
Yeah.
or not.
Very true. Very true.
Sounds
Like I have a
like-
good promoter in Vegas. Right? Benny, I'll be
Yeah.
hitting you up.
No, I love Vegas. I also had never been there until he was there.
Place
So
is
I was like,
crazy.
this is fun.
Yeah.
Crazy. And it's
I can imagine living there.
yes.
Like that's so crazy
Right?
to me.
But when I picture Vegas, I
Right.
picture the
That is
strip
crazy.
as like the whole city. But we got to like go to a few different parts. Summerlin is like a city that we got to go to, and
Henderson.
yeah, there are a lot of really cool cities out there.
Well,
I'm a big Vegas fan.
Yeah.
It was-
Huge
Always.
Raiders fans.
Yeah, huge.
big time.
I'm gonna
Raiders
go
fan.
get a tattoo of the Raiders
Yeah.
right now. actually.
Same.
Oh my God. It was just super refreshing. Like, again, Cleveland's much better than what people paint the picture to be. Like, it's a solid city.
Yeah.
But getting to Vegas and being like, okay, there's a million different places to eat. Like, okay, we can go to like the nice Toca Madera and like do
Yeah.
all these
I love
fun
Toca.
dinners and have drinks and like hang out is really, it was so refreshing. Because it just wasn't like that in Cleveland. There's more chain restaurants. It's more of like not the same vibe. Again, not a horrible city, but
Also, you guys are young. You want to go out and do the
Yes.
fun, crazy things. Like maybe one day when, the babies do come, you can, Cleveland's more realistic or whatever.
Yes.
But that's super fun. And so Vegas, like, would you guys get an apartment there? Because I know your home base is here. What's that
I think
vibe looking like?
It's funny.
we're
I
on
think
the same page. With
I
this,
think we
though.
would buy a house in Vegas.
Yeah,
it
like-
would make sense.
Don't they have no state income tax?
Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah.
Come
yes,
on,
sir. Checking
taxes.
about money flying everywhere.
in.
boy.
Yeah.
Right on, right on, right on.
No, honestly, and it's just a really cool city that I think that if we bought a house there, we could eventually turn it into an Airbnb or
my
even
gosh.
like a rental property. So
I'm inviting myself over.
yeah,
Yeah, you're welcome.
absolutely.
You're
Like
welcome.
you're coming over.
Wow,
And
that's so
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it also like gives her a fun project. Like I kind of wish we would have bought one in Cleveland because like our
Yeah.
homes are cheap and it would have just been a fun. I mean, it's a privileged thing. It's like just a fun project. Like it's a whole home. But
Yeah.
But I will say we did
I mean,
it
how
in Indiana.
cool that you're in
like
that position.
Yeah,
to do
but
that.
she
You worked your
crushes
ass off
it.
to do it.
yeah, so
Yeah,
we
so-
fixed up the house that we bought in Indiana, and we got. I mean,
Made
that
some
was
good
right when
money
the
on it,
housing
yeah.
market was like increasing, so we sold at the right time. But like, everyone thought we were so stupid, and I'm like, oh well.
Did you
here's-
make a good profit on it?
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it was solid.
Wow.
yeah.
In 10 months, it was like wow. 10
In-
months, it's a win.
So how many Airbnbs do you have?
2. We're
And we'll
looking
get
for 3,
we'll get one soon.
Where?
We're thinking probably North Carolina.
Where are the Airbnbs or where's the next one?
No, where's
Or
the next
both?
one? North Carolina. The other ones are
thinking
in Arizona.
yes, and I'm thinking like mountain vibes. Like I want to do something that's very different from our other 2 because we did the first one and we were like, okay, let's just like perfect this little process now that we have like a contractor here and everything. So we did the second one, but in the future, like we plan to own a ton. So I'm like, I definitely want it to be different vibes. Like I want each vibe to reflect the city that it's in.
Oh, that's cool. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I would. I don't want to copy and paste. That sounds boring.
Also, like doing things that are like true to us. Like I think we want to create what would be like our perfect like couples cabin experience.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we're
yeah.
like, let's
that you would like
create-
to go to.
Yes, let's create that for somebody else, and that's what Arizona. Like you had your bachelorette
Yeah, I
party
literally
at
planned.
our Airbnb.
I renovated
that
the
you
house to be. I'm not. That sounds so like crazy, but I renovated it to be like what I would want to hold my
That's
bachelorette
smart.
at.
That's
and
smart.
now it's like all women bachelorette parties that rent it
Yeah.
out. And it's like
Yeah.
that's
going crazy.
on brand.
You should do one in Nashville. I feel like girls go crazy. for the Bachelor.
You know what's
That'd be
crazy? We
hype.
looked into doing one in Nashville, and there are so many crazy zoning laws now
It's
because
weird
now
Airbnb
Airbnb
laws.
is big, and that they just don't want it to like affect the people actually buying houses to live there. So
I get it. I get it.
But
Okay,
one
so
day.
for people that are in your position where they're like, okay, I have some money in my savings. I want to start a new project. I want to make some more money, passive money. How, like, would you recommend starting an Airbnb? How much of your time is it taking you? And are you making quite a bit of money? Like, is it worth it? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, I quit my job to do Airbnb. That was kind of like when he was a free agent. I was like, I love interior design. This is something I want to do. It could provide income, so like this would be my contribution to like our accounts. Like I don't know, it was just something as a way of passive income. And I will say, like I think the reason our Airbnbs are successful, and this sounds like very toot my own horn, but I'm gonna do it. Is I think you have to set yourself apart. Like you're not gonna just if you go and like get Wayfair furniture and just white sheets and white everything and white walls, it's not gonna do well. Now if you can set yourself apart in the rental market, then yeah, I think it's extremely successful. Especially like I see like a bunch of other Airbnbs doing it now where like they're like putting cute patterns on the wall or they're like naming it something. And I'm like, that is going to set yourself apart from like the typical like
Some experience.
yes,
Right.
exactly. Like you want to create an experience. And so I think, yeah, it can be lucrative. You just have to do it the right way.
Okay.
Like you can't really half-ass it.
Which people are. A lot of people are just running the Airbnb,
Yeah.
throwing properties together. They're renting furniture and like. You have to be real. You have to be genuine and do like really put your heart and soul into it. It needs a little TLC.
If you're passionate about it, I highly recommend it though.
How much time does it take? Like out of you have 100% of your time. How much percentage is it taking?
When renovating, 100%.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Really?
Especially because
stressful.
if contractors, if you've never worked with one, they are like time. Oh my gosh, they just take forever to do stuff. They're expensive. You have to like always be on their ass. Well, I guess in our situation, that's by my experience, but definitely like, and like I'm the one designing, I'm the one ordering, I'm the one that's always flying there back, like figuring everything out. So I would say 100% in like when we're renovating. But once everything gets running, we hired a manager
Oh,
to
okay,
like
I was gonna
a
ask that.
co-host, and
is amazing.
I ran it when we lived in Indiana, and then somebody threw a party. And there was like throw up on the rugs.
No, thanks.
And I was
Not
like,
good.
how am I supposed to manage this from Indiana? Like, how am I supposed to do that?
It's also hard when you have a social media presence and now like you don't want to be getting
No.
Yeah, you
And
don't
I'm
want
like, when I stayed in Airbnb, cleanliness is number one. So I'm like, I need somebody eyes, ears all time. Like,
who's there kind of on site.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So he lives in Arizona. And when we do other Airbnbs, we might stick with him or I don't know. It's very important. Like guest relationships and cleanliness. I'm like, very important.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So cool. And so you're thinking of buying in Vegas. Would you ever Airbnb that out?
I think eventually.
Smart. Especially another bachelorette hub for
For
bachelor
sure.
party hub.
Well, it's interesting. So many people are like, "Oh, it wouldn't do well because it's not on the strip." But I'm like, if I was throwing my bachelorette there, I don't think I'd want to stay on the strip. Like, you want to
No,
be
you
able
wanna
to like,
stay off, yeah.
have like a different experience.
Yeah, and we naturally cater probably more towards women, and I feel like women don't have the draw to gamble
No.
like men do.
I'm like, ew.
You're like not even close.
No, I'm like Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
Dinner.
Yes, Toca Madera.
Yeah.
So I think it's like
Chain smokers.
you know- right. So I think we wouldn't need to be right on the strip. We could be outside.
Yeah.
And
Who knows what we'll do though?
Cool day. Come
Yeah,
on.
exactly. And
Yeah.
there are so many. What was I gonna say? There are so many like conferences that are held there. So I feel like it would be very different than like I don't know.
To be determined.
Have you ever worked with a brand to help furnish your Airbnbs?
It's coming up.
Hell
Yes, sir.
Okay, so last question. What are you guys doing to make moves in your life currently? I know you kind of said your goals. I want to hear. What are you doing to move and shake things
Take it
in your
away.
life?
I think we're just continuing to grow, but I think like trying to think about like how do we like take this massive following and turn it into like more like long-term sustainable opportunities. Like I don't want to be like 35 just like TikToking, like doing dance. Like I want to
Or I don't want to like still talk about the NFL when he's done with the NFL. Like, yeah, I'm sure that it'll be time to time, but I don't want to be like, oh yeah, my retired NFL husband.
Yeah,
So it's
you
like,
want to evolve.
yeah,
yes,
like
absolutely.
we want to move on from it, but I think we're doing that. I think we're doing a good job of it, but I think just continuing to like create like real like stuff like this, like doing real live like type opportunities, and then continuing to hustle with the Airbnbs and all the side hustles. So
And all the shout outs.
Right?
shout out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I agree with like where we're trying to grow. I also feel like right now we've grown, and I'm like, I want to be able to take it in too. Like I think right now I'm just at the point where I'm like, holy shit, is this real life? Like I want to take
so
it in.
fast.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Have fun.
Yeah.
And like we're renovating our house out here in California, so I'm like, I think maybe even talking more about like interior design on like my
Oh my gosh, I would love
TikTok. I think I need to
Would
start
love
doing that.
And you're great
Yeah.
at interior design.
You should do the thing where you like where someone shows their apartment and they're like, I don't know what to do, and then you like duet it and you're like, this is what you should do.
See, I
Oh, that'd be
I
an easy
love
way to do
those.
it. The duets. That's a
I've
good
been
idea.
starting to do that on like on my Instagram stories. It's called Mood Board Monday, and people like send a picture of like their living room, and they're like, "Oh, here's my inspiration," and
Yeah.
like I help out with that.
Yes.
So yeah, I definitely need to start bringing that to TikTok because I love interior design, and I'm like, I don't know, I want people to enjoy their space too.
Even other creators that you're friends with, like I'm thinking selfishly of myself, I have a second bedroom now and I'm designing it, but like it would be so cool to be like, oh, I have this interior design like
Yes.
person helping me, blah, 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 blah. And then you do like little videos together. You should do that with other creators.
Yeah, you should do that
absolutely.
with TK.
yeah.
Me.
She's like, I will be the trial run.
That's why-
Thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. Okay, well, it has been an absolute blast hanging out with you guys. I can't
Absolutely.
wait to hang out in real life more.
Yes.
Go Raiders. Where can everyone follow you guys?
Allison Kuch on every platform: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
I'm just straight Isaac Rochell. Rochelle,
Rochelle.
not Cooch.
Sure.
Rochelle. Well, guys, be sure to go and follow them. Send them some love. Turn on the next Raiders game next year. And we love you guys so much. Be sure to make someone's day this week. Peace.
Bye.
Toodles.